Last time I told Darren where the Hydra's heart is. This time I'm just gonna go in. I believe I have 3 stats, right? I have 4 speed. I require 3 speed to do this, so I'm completely fine here. So we're going to use this opportunity to rush towards the Hydra and cut off its heart. Hydra Slayer. Speed check successful, level 3. I waste no time and rush towards the monster now. While it's still disoriented, even while staggering, the Hydra still hasn't let its guard down. As I approach it with 2 of its head lunge at me, but I was so fast that the monster missed me by far. Just as the monster's heart is within reach of my dagger, the Hydra moves its tail away from me as it lifts it high into the air. The Hydra is aware of its own weak spot. I was careless. The monster has now regained its balance. It is now using all of its head in an attempt to drive me in a corner. However, my current speed, dodging all of these slow maneuvers, these slow overgrown snakes seems like child's play. Boy, what in the blazes do you think you're doing? The dwarf asked me. Hardrick, I say, the creature's heart is in the tip of its tail. If you can pull its tail back down here, I'll deal the finishing blow with my dagger. Oh, now I get it, Hardrick says, grinning. Consider it done. Dwarf then jumps behind the Hydra, grab it by the tail, pulling it down with all of his force. Okay, Barry, the dwarf says as he struggles to keep a hold of the tail. Whenever you're ready. I put all of my speed into this one sprint and I arrive near the tip of the Hydra's tail in an instant, stabbing it with all of the force I could muster. The screams of all the snakeheads as I pierced through the heart were painful to hear, but once I twisted the knife, these howlings started to fade, and the whole creature came crashing down on the floor with a loud thump. The Hydra now lies dead beside me, but I almost feel like it's still watching me with its lifeless eyes, waiting for me to let my guard down in order to deal one last strike. That is a good mentality to keep on edge. Barry, you sly bastard, Darren tells me as he walks towards me. You could have told me about the Hydra's weak spot, but you wanted to hog all the glory for yourself. Well, how does it feel to have slain your first Hydra? You're not going to let this go to your head, are you? Of course not, I tell him. I always meant to go on an epic monster slaying quest right after winning this tournament. A minor victory like this changes nothing. Darren grins. You cheeky little, he starts to say, but he gets interrupted by Flower, who is now descending towards us using 2 small jets of fire coming out of her feet to slow down her fall, like Iron Man. Oh gods, I didn't know there was a Hydra down here, she says. I could have come sooner, but those traps upstairs just kept going and going. She then lands and looks at the monster surprised, trying to see if it's really dead or just sleeping. I can't believe you guys actually took down the Hydra by yourself without any magic. Is anyone hurt? Actually, I could use some healing. The wound on my leg is killing me. I think this is just normal talk. You can tell when that cuts off, right? Whenever you continue, you have to look at the paragraphs. Basically, these paragraphs are written into a big script, as far as I can tell, and then those paragraphs, depending on the situation, are inserted in. So like if I make a choice, the first few paragraphs could be related to that choice, and then we'll go back to its normal conversation that you would get from any of the choices except for the death choices, I suppose. So this is just the same thing after this. This is a meaningless choice, so I'm just gonna pick this first one. Sure, it's not like we have a better option because we're talking about trying to purify Illuna, who was a banshee. But now we know that she can't because it's like 2 soul situation, and she has like a body where like the soul is separate from the body and whatnot. I agree, Kate says. It doesn't matter how badly the girl remembers the layout of these ruins. Still better than having no information at all, Hardrick says. Count me in too, I guess, he says. Last time I tried to take initiative, we ended up in a Hydra's den, so I don't really have any right to complain. Rose says, still not having fully recovered from a voice from the Hydra incident. I think we should follow Flower as well. Alright then, girl says. Yeah, but blah blah blah. We already seen this. I really want to ask, why did the Lesethi ask you to hold Araka's like amulet? Why specifically her? Maybe because she doesn't require sleep twice or whatever. But whatever the case is, I don't understand. I really want to ask why the Lesethi specifically asked her, but the guide says that I should probably ask like how old she is. Wait, did you say 20 years ago? How old are you exactly? I'll be turning 30 next month, the girl says, smiling back. Hey, look, we have reached the main corridor. Yeah, blah blah. I think I've actually picked this choice last time as well, so we have already seen this. So we're gonna do exactly what we did last time. This is where we made 3 corridors, and there are like 2 corridors full of trap or death or whatever. I never went down those 2 corridors in my life. So we're gonna take the beetle path, which the tiger or whatever, one of the guides of the golden fox take, and we're gonna get over there. Then she's gonna capture us, then she's gonna like try to kill us, and then Rose like, please don't kill them. Then she's gonna send us about the ogre stronghold bullshit. You remember the ogre whole stronghold we had to destroy? Yeah, that. She's gonna send us on that quest. So we're gonna take the path marked with the beetle. Just confirm, take the path marked with the beetle. Yes, suggest taking the path marked with the beetle. We have already read this because this is exactly the same thing I did last time as well. We're gonna continue until I get to this point. So we're gonna ask her about the ogre stronghold. Could you tell us more about this ogre stronghold we are about to be sent to? The ogre stronghold is a fortress located a few dozen miles from here, Alea says. The ogre have been using it as their main headquarters in the area for the past few years. It is heavily defended and very hard to infiltrate. Besides regular warriors, I am told that the ogres also have a few powerful mages within their ranks. Will we get our collars deactivated once we get to the ogre stronghold? Kate asked. I've seen collars like these before, and I know for a fact that they could have be activated or deactivated at will without having to remove them. I'm afraid the collars we use are a more primitive. Yeah, we have already read this. I definitely remember reading this. Anyway, moving on. Here we are in chapter 9. And we are going to we are back outside and we are going towards the ogre stronghold or whatever. So I'm supposed to introduce myself to Flower as well, so we're gonna do that. I'm Barry, I tell her. Pleased to meet you as well. Oh, thanks, Flower says. Well, I already got your name. It's pretty easy to remember. You can see that again with a grin. It's probably also the reason why you can't throw a rock without hitting. Yeah, we already read all this. Right, this is the another meaningless choice we have right now. And this choice actually suggests something very specific. What it suggests is basically that she's talking about like the day Petal met Illuna. That was the day like she was the happiest because she could share her mind with someone else, because the whole situation with her is that her soul is not connected to her body. It remains in the other magical plane or whatever where banshees come from. And when Illuna took over the body of Petal, but her soul was still outside and they combated or whatever, and they kind of like decided to stay in the same body, that sort of situation. So we're gonna go with live inside your own mind. You mean to say that you space out a lot? No, Flower shouts. I mean that I'm literally living inside my own mind, and I've been doing so ever since I was born. But yeah, we already read all this. I think I pretty much picked this choice because I didn't want to be too rude or whatever. So this is the part where they're like talking about why she acts like young, and she's like older, and she's like, I'm almost 30. So why are you acting like a 10-year-old? You do realize your brain technically never developed past the age of 10, right? Which is what we are going to pick, because the first one sounds just there's no point. We already know what the reason is. La la la, I'm not listening. The girl shouts, son starts shouting and whatever. I rest my case, I say, and then I decide to change the subject. So what did you do with Araka? I see you're not wearing the amulet around your neck. Oh right, Hardrick is playing with her or whatever. So we are fine with that. We've seen this. Actually, I don't know who the fuck Illuna is. Oh, Illuna is Petal's real name. Flower is the name of this girl. Okay. Flower is the name of the actual girl, and Petal is just the name of Illuna, that the banshee that she gave her probably. Here's another meaningless choice. There's no point asking about any of this. Not gonna get us any information of any manner out of this. Yeah, I'll just go with, speaking of Petal, how long have you been getting along? Oh, it's been a blast. I've been having loads of fun over the years, and I think Petal's been enjoying it too, or at least I think she has. Kind of hard to tell because she's always grumpy and not very sociable. Yeah, I know the type, I tell her as I look towards Kate. Kate frowns at me, but she doesn't dignify my comment with a response. Hey, Flower, Darren shouts from a distance. Is this right way to Stronghold? Yeah, we already seen all this. Here's another meaningless choice. This is the point where we're just randomly talking to Rose, and she asks, come to think of it, this must all be pretty new for you too, isn't it? From what you've been told, you have never even fought a goblin before coming to this tournament. Have you always able to remain so calm despite the fact that you have your entire world turned upside down? So we are going to, I'm not calm, it's just that I'm very good at hiding fear. This is the same thing I said last time, but I'm going to probably pick that one. Yeah, I'm going to pick that one. I'm not calm, it's just that I'm very good at hiding fear. Modesty doesn't suit you, Barry, Rose says smiling. If you're just hiding your fear from us, then you wouldn't have been able to confront the dragon yesterday and save us all. You're really gallant up there, you know. Something about the look you had in your eyes before you went to fight Tyrant made me feel really safe and cast away all my fears. Once she stops talking, Rose suddenly realizes she was blushing as she quickly turns her head away in a clumsy attempt to hide her face from me. That is really embarrassing of a conversation. That's kind of putting me on edge, honestly. So let's continue. I can't tell if this is a meaningful choice or not. The guide is a little vague about this, but essentially we're asking Rose what she thinks of Kate, and she's like, oh, she's cheery and all that. And then she's like, what do you think of her? And there are the options. I'm not sure if this is the correct choice I'm picking, but hopefully it is. So the guy says, tell Rose what you noticed about Flower and Petal. I'm thinking this is another option that they're talking about, or whatever. I find her a bit annoying, to be frank. I just can't bring myself to trust her. I was just thinking about what Darren said this morning. I think she's pretty fun too. I was just curious to see if you thought the same way. It's too bad that Darren doesn't seem to share our opinion for her. Can you blame him though? Banshees aren't really known for their moral integrity, and the girl shares a body with one. Well, I for one trust Petal. Well, you haven't even talked to her. No, but Flower has, and alright. Same thing.